All right, so let's start this broadcast with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The fighting in the Russia-Ukraine war has intensified in the last 48 odd hours. The Russian army has reportedly attacked multiple command centers, tanks and ammunition depots and other military targets of Ukraine in the last 24 hours. Ukrainian forces are said to be returning in kind, striking the Russian air defense systems. This is what the Ukrainians claim. Now, this is the moment that a Ukrainian missile struck a Russian Navy's Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Sevastopol on Friday. The smoke can be seen rising from the building just before a missile made its impact and the sound of explosion was heard. Now, Russia, remember, said that it had just one personnel missing, but Ukraine claims that dozens, including senior Russian naval commanders, have died or have sustained some serious injuries when it staged this missile attack on the Sevastopol headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet. Now remember, at this moment, it is not possible to independently verify the claims and counterclaims by Russia and Ukraine. Now the strike at the heart of Russia's Black Sea Fleet headquarters marks a major blow for Moscow, which remember has suffered a string of attacks on the strategically important port city of Sevastopol. Now, buoyed after the capture last week of the key village of Klishchevka, Ukrainian troops have lauded the 155mm howitzers as key equipment that is being provided by the United States and its NATO allies. Now, the Ukrainian commanders have described the capture of Klishchevka and the neighboring Andriivka as stepping stones to taking back Bakhmut, which fell to the Russians after many months of some very heavy fighting. The gains have been amongst the most significant in Ukraine's counteroffensive, which began in the month of June, but has struggled all through because of the entrenched Russian defenses. Now, Moscow has also unleashed its fury on the battlefront. Russian Defense Ministry has said in the last 24 hours that the Russian army has repelled several attacks by the Ukrainian army in the direction of Donetsk, Zaporizhia and Lyman. Moscow claims to have hit targets such as radar sets, tanks, ammunition depots and also a number of command centers. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who visited Washington this week, has urged his allies to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles so that it can target positions deeper inside the Russian-controlled territory. Now, on Thursday, Volodymyr Zelensky confronted some weakening political support in the United States for his country's demands for more arms. Now, behind the visuals of firm handshakes and also a grand cabinet table and shows of solidarity at the Oval Office lay the fact that Zelensky's second wartime trip to Washington was far tougher than the first one. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is happening at this moment between Russia and Ukraine, we're being joined by Ms. Alina Trigub, the Secretary General of the Independent Defense Anti-Corruption Committee. She's joining us from Kiev at this moment. Now, Ms. Trigub, this is an important moment in the counter-offensive, is it not? Because Ukraine has successfully managed to strike at the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet in Sevastopol. And what we're given to understand is that Ukraine has carried out a missile strike on the headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet.
Yes, indeed, it is a very important development in war, in Ukrainian counteroffensive operation. This is the coordinated so-called Crimean campaign. I want to remind you that there were some reports confirmed by independent analysts that Ukraine destroyed 5 S-400 missile launchers, which is the Russian counter anti-aircraft missile. These are very important pieces of equipment, one of each costs $1.4 billion. And and it seems that those reports were true indeed, because now we saw this attack in Sevastopol, and without destroying Russian air defenses, those attacks wouldn't be possible. So it seems that Ukraine achieved this success with combination of UAVs and missiles, and now we see the result.
Absolutely, indeed, because there could be some level of credibility to those claims that have been made that the Russian S-400 anti-air defense systems in Sevastopol may have been destroyed, because otherwise that missile strike simply would not have been possible. But the question that I want to ask you, Ms. Trigger, at this moment is, Ukraine seems to have a strategy to target, Russia's military installations, predominantly in the Crimean Peninsula. But Russia has said that Crimea is a red line for it. And, even the top leadership within Russia has said that if Crimea were to come under attack, then they would be willing to use the nuclear option. Does it not concern the Ukrainian leadership?
Well, absolutely not. Because in Ukraine, everybody already understood that those are just Russian threats, and so-called Russian territory, which Russia recognizes as its occupied territory, Crimea, Donbass area, they were hit many, many times, and nothing happened. And apparently, Russian claims that they will use nuclear weapons if their territory is hit. What they really mean is that it's when Vladimir Putin's regime is threatened, not when Russian territory is hit. And therefore, this nuclear blackmail definitely doesn't work for Ukraine and the whole world, of course, including Indian leader. They were telling Russia to stop the Russian nuclear blackmail. So I think we now see that it is indeed just a blackmail to deter Ukrainian partners from giving us support that we need.
All right. Now, the fact that you're talking about the support that you need from your partners, Volodymyr Zelensky was recently in Washington, D.C., but the reception that he's got this time round, points quite clearly to the fact that the Western allies, especially the United States of America, probably the appetite for war is no longer there as what it was before. And even within Europe, the Polish president Andrzej Duda said that Ukraine is like a drowning man who will clutch at anything and will take you down if you try to offer help. Are you a bit concerned with the fact that your Western allies are going a bit cold in terms of the help that they intend to offer to you?
I want to draw your attention to the fact that those misunderstandings, miscommunications that were happening between Ukraine and US, Ukraine and Poland, they were all happening on a very high political level between politicians. When it comes to data from sociological polls, it shows that society in the United States, society in Poland, they all are in favor of supporting Ukraine. So I think that, of course, such conflicts, they are inevitable, and Ukraine has now issue more like a trade issue with Poland. It's about economics, and this is why now there is this kind of scandal going on. Right. But I think that those countries will bounce back to normal once these issues are overcome.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Irina Trigub, for joining us and getting us all those details there.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.